بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم في هذا المساء. أولا كل عام وأنتم بخير، متباركين بذكرى مولد فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام الذي يصادف هذا المساء، ونرحب بكل الحضور. يبدو أن هذا السؤال يقلق كثير من أولياء الأمور: كيف أؤسس ابني أو طفلي تأسيسا قويا في اللغة الإنجليزية؟ لا أحد يشك أو يظن بأن اللغة الإنجليزية هو الاستثمار الأول عند الأطفال. الآن هذا الوعي عند كثير من أولياء الأمور يعي جيدا أهمية اللغة وتأسيسها منذ الصغر، لأن عدم تعلم اللغة منذ الصغر راح يواجه صعوبة لما يكبر. الطفل عنده قدرة هائلة بتعلم أكثر من لغة كلغة أم في سن مبكرة. كل ما كبر كل ما ازدادت الصعوبة، ولذلك إن شاء الله نسعى جميعا حتى نمكن أطفالنا بإذن الله لتعلم اللغة الإنجليزية بشكل يؤهلهم أن يتمسكوا بهذه اللغة أو يهضموا هذه اللغة كلغة أم، بحيث لا تتأثر لغتهم الأم الأساس وهي اللغة العربية. معنا الأستاذة لينا. How to pronounce your family name, Lina?
Lina Fatouh.
Fatouh.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like Arabic name, Fatouh.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have Arabic roots, actually.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our teacher today is Lina Fatouh. Lina, she is an IELTS teacher for International House Minsk, teaching face-to-face as well as online. And she is also summer camp counselor. And she is also a teacher at Belarusian State University. Is that true?
It was in Minsk. Yeah, it was Belarusian State University as well as Minsk State Linguistic University. But currently I'm teaching online. Obviously, no universities. So I've been teaching for more than 5 years.
Okay, very good. So yeah. Lina, let's go to the point here. Oh. Lina, there's really a big concern, and this is why I saw a lot of people, they are just attending the course. They have this common concern how to establish our child's skills in English in a way that it enables them to take the English like fluent language, because the people who do not start studying English in the early stage in their life, they get struggle later on. So I would like you to explain how we can establish it in a way that makes it easy, fun for the kids, as well as there are a lot of ways, like some approaches. They say one parent, one language. Like dad takes English, mom talks Arabic, and they use it, practice it day by day. Or some people, they say no, let them watch as much as possible English cartoons or series. So a lot of ideas. Or maybe they said, oh no, use the new techniques like phonics, they study the sound of the letters, not. Some people say, oh no, grammars with the kids. So a lot of ideas. So let's go ahead and see how. Then we'll receive questions from people. Okay. Go ahead, Dina.
That's fine. So if you will just let me share my presentation with you so I can talk you through each point. Let me just do that. Can you please let me share my screen because I think it's been disabled?
Can you try now?
Okay. Yes, that's fine. Thank you so much. All right, so let me just share my screen with you now. And I will talk you through some slides. We'll be talking about general English for children. How we'll look at the following things. So what is the best approach to use while teaching English? What skills we develop in English lessons? How we can develop those skills successfully? We'll look at phonics and why it's important. And finally, we'll talk a little bit about how parents can help their children and be good English teachers. So let's start with the approach. So what approach do we use to teach English? Communicative approach is the one that is widely used in a lot of language schools right now, and it is the approach that personally I use in my lessons. What is the main idea of this approach? The main idea is that learning a language, any foreign language, successfully comes through meaningful and real communication at all levels. So it doesn't matter whether you are just starting, you're a beginner, or you are intermediate or advanced, no matter what level you are, learning a language only makes sense if you can use it for communication, for speaking or for writing. So how can we achieve that during online lessons, for example? We can achieve that through real life communicative tasks. So what does that mean? It means that we give our students real life questions and tasks. For example, talk to your partner and ask him or her about their favorite game. This is the kind of question that students, doesn't matter if it's children or adults, they can come across in real life. When you meet a new person, you talk about your favorite sports or weather or the countries that you've traveled to. So these are the kinds of questions that we will use in our lessons to make them as much true to life as possible. So that's the first and the most important thing here. The next thing is we use authentic materials in the lesson. It means that whether it's reading or listening, it's going to be an authentic piece of text or an audio with native speakers from Great Britain, Australia, United States, and it's going to be a real life situation. And number 3, it's the integration of all 4 skills. I'm going to talk about these 4 skills a little bit later on. We'll talk about each of them and how they can be developed. So if you would like to interpret now.
And no, you go ahead, continue. Just
that's fine, yeah? Okay, I can go on. Okay, so what 4 skills do we develop during English lessons? Let's look at them. So these are 4 basic skills that students learn in any foreign language, including English. It's listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So in our lessons, we pay equal attention to all of these 4 skills. But it is natural that in one lesson we'll be paying more attention to listening, in another lesson we'll be spending more time on reading, and another one will be focusing on writing. But that doesn't matter, that doesn't mean that we don't speak. Speaking is an essential part of any lesson, regardless of which particular skill we're trying to develop. So communicative approach means that no matter what we're doing it through speech. So we're trying to communicate at all levels. So let's look at each of the skills separately and how what the best way to develop each of those skills is.
Can I interrupt you now here? Lina?
Yes, please.
Yeah, before you go ahead and for details for each.
Yeah, sure.
الأستاذة لينا بس شرحت الحين إنه أفضل أبروتش لتعلم اللغة الإنجليزية هو real life communication. real life communication يعني معناته إنه بغض النظر عن العمر إن كان صغير أو كبير، رسم سيناريوهات حياتية واقعية. مثلا تسأل الطفل إنه يروح يساعدك أو يكلم صديقه أو إنه يتحدث. بشكل عام الريل لايف كوميونيكيشنز يعني مو ساعة تعلم، لا ساعة عمل، كأنك أنت تعيش حياتك طبيعية. أنت قاعد بالمطبخ تروح تجيب موية، تروح تجيب أغراض مثلا تساعده، تتواصل معاه باللغة الإنجليزية. الحين راح تتكلم عن المهارات الأربع اللي هو listening, speaking, reading, writing. مثل ما ذكر الأستاذ لينا إن هم ذي المهارات الأربع مجتمعين مع بعض في الكلاس. ممكن يكون يطبقوا الأربع المهارات، لكن ممكن يركزوا على مهارة دون الأخرى. الآن راح تفصل كل مهارة على حدة. Yeah, go ahead, Lina.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start now with listening and reading skills. So what is the best way to develop those skills? So first of all, it's the use of authentic materials. Listening, whether it's a piece of a dialogue or a speech or a communication between friends, relatives, or parents, whether it's a story, an extract from a children's book, doesn't matter what it is, but it is authentic. So it's written in authentic English language. And the first thing that we do in a lesson is create a context and generate interest in this topic. So every lesson has a certain topic, for example, food or traveling or sports. So it is important at the very beginning of the lesson to lead in the students into this topic by asking them either questions connected to this topic, something very general, like what kind of sports do you like? Show them some pictures that are connected with the topic of the lessons. A short video. It can be an associations game where you show a drawing or a picture and you ask, what do you think about when you see this picture? So this helps students to activate their existing knowledge about a particular subject, a particular topic, and it makes it easier for them to stay within this context throughout the lesson. So what do we do later? What is the next step? So whether it is reading or listening, we need to prepare the students to listen or to read. How do we do this? We need to pre-teach the unknown or tricky vocabulary. Yeah, so we need to make sure that the students understand the meaning of some unknown words that they're going to listen to or read about. And in the vocabulary, any kind of vocabulary, we always focus firstly on meaning, second on pronunciation, and third on spelling. So how can we teach vocabulary? So we speak only English during the lesson, so we do not translate things into students' mother tongue. So how can we make sure that they understand? We use visual aids. So we show pictures or short videos, or we explain it with the help of our gestures and hands. Then we ask questions to make sure that the students understand the meaning. We drill the pronunciation. We pronounce the word isolated in a phrase, in a sentence, together with the students. We show them the spelling on the board or on the screen if we're talking about online, so they know 3 basic structures of each word: a meaning, pronunciation, and spelling. After we've covered the vocabulary, we move on to a pre-listening or pre-reading task. So again, this is a communicative approach. So the students need to understand why they're reading or why they're listening to something. So they need to have a goal, a question, or a task that they need to achieve. So we give them a pre-listening or a pre-reading task. For example, what happened to the main character at the end of the story, or what present did Sally buy for her mother? So students listen or read and they find the answer to a particular question. Afterwards, we always ask for a personalized response to engage students more with the contents of what they've just listened to or of what they've just read. So if we talk about presents, for example, we ask students to discuss what presents they like. For example, draw a picture of your favorite present and tell your friend about it. And this is, again, a real life communication. This is a way for children to express something that they want to tell you about. Yes, so they draw a picture or they show a picture of their favorite present and they talk to another person in the group and they tell them about it. So we use the text or the audio for discussions as a class, for some role plays, for projects where you have to draw or write something based on what we have been talking about. So this is, in short, what a reading or listening lesson would look like. So you learn new vocabulary, you practice listening, or you practice reading and finding specific information in the text to complete your task. And as a follow-up activity towards the end of the lesson, you actually produce something. Yes, so the students either speak or they write or they create something. Okay, so this is it about listening and reading.
Okay. Why do you link listening with reading, not listening with speaking?
That's because all 4 skills are grouped into 2 categories: receptive skills and productive skills. Receptive skills are listening and reading, because this is how we receive the information. And productive is when we actually produce something, whether it's a writing or speaking.
Okay, let me translate this and make sure that this ذكرت الأستاذة لينا، هي وزعت المهارات الأربع إلى نوعين: receptive which is اللي هو استقبال، اللي هو السماع والقراءة، أنت قاعد تستقبل، و productive اللي هو الإنتاج، إنه السبيكينج والكتابة. السبيكينج والكتابة هما إنتاجك أنت، مو استقبال. فلكل نوعين نصائح مشتركة ذكرتها هنا بشكل مختصر، هنا راح أذكرها بشكل مختصر. المهارات أو النصائح أو ركزت على الفوكابلري، إنه قبل لا تدخل على التمرين، طبعا التمرين لابد يكون أوثنتيك، يعني واقعي، وتصنع فيه نوع من المتعة. قبل ما تبدأ فيه اذا في vocabularies تذكرها وتحطها مثلا، تكتبها، تلزقها بري تيتشنج، يعني تخليه ملم بهذه المعنى. وطبعا ركزت على انه ما تقول المعنى باللغه الام، باللغه العربيه، تشرح له بفيجوال ايدز، بتشرح له بالصوره. Here this is very challenging, Lena, because even me, when I teach my kids, sometimes I just give up and translate in our native language. How can we prevent this? Because sometimes it's not easy just to with the visual aids. So sometimes we use our own language. Is that bad?
No, it's not that bad. Sometimes it is really difficult to explain the meaning of a word without an actual translation, but it's best to use it as a last resort when everything else fails, and when you've tried absolutely everything and your student doesn't understand that. This is when you can tell them, okay, you may translate this word. So you can use either visual aids, or you can use synonyms. Yes. So for example, you are trying to pre-teach the word huge. So you can show them a picture of something that is very big, or you can say it means very, very big. Yeah, so you're giving them a synonym. Huge is what it means, very, very big. Or for example, tiny. You can show them with your fingers that this is tiny, or you can say very, very small, or you can say it's the opposite of huge. So you can use opposites, and you can use synonyms to explain that as well. You can use the word in a sentence or in a phrase to make it easier. Yeah, so context always helps to understand the meaning.
Yeah.
So these are some of the ways that can be used, but if all fails, there is always translation. Yeah.
Can we go one step back? Here we assume that the kids, they understand our like communication in English. What about the kids that they have zero in English? They have nothing about the English. How do they start? How we can communicate and develop their listening and reading skills?
Well, with complete beginners, it is obviously more difficult, because as a teacher, you have to grade your language. So you make sure that you don't use any complicated language. You speak in a very simple terms, and you use a lot of gestures. Yeah, so you take a book and you say read, and you take a pen and you say, this is a pen, write. So you're showing everything with the help of your gestures. Or again, we're using flashcards and visual aids. For example, you're teaching them the word a cat. You show them the picture of a cat. And they don't really need a lot of language for this. You don't really need to be speaking a lot. You just show this picture and you say, this is a cat, and they repeat after you. You show them another animal. This is a dog, and so on. So it just really comes down to being able to communicate things in a very, very simple way for students who are just beginners. Same for adults, really.
Very good. Okay, can proceed. Thank you, Alina.
Okay. So let's move on to the next skill, and it's writing. So how can we develop writing skills? So again, the students, we pre-teach the key vocabulary. Yeah, so we focus on meaning, pronunciation, and spelling. And for any type of writing, one of the methods is setting scene for reading a model text. So let's say we want to write an email to a friend. How do we do it? We look at a model, at an example. It can also be done through pictures. For example, look at the pictures and guess what the text is going to be about. And then the students predict the contents, and then they read and they check whether their predictions were right or not. We focus on the language of the example or model text. We focus on the layout. We look at which words were used, what grammar, what tenses were used, what vocabulary was used in this example. We underline them or we circle them so that students understand exactly what they need to use in their own writing. We can use picture prompts, for example, a series of pictures, and then the students write a story based on the pictures. Listening can also be used as a basis for writing. For example, you listen to one part of the story, and then what happens next? This is what the students have to write. So again, setting a communicative task is very important here. So why are we writing this? For example, write a short essay about your summer holidays for a school contest. Or write an email to your friend telling them about your birthday party. Yeah, so we set a very clear task for children to communicate something, but in writing form. And after they've completed the task, it is time for the teacher to check it, to correct the mistakes, and to give feedback. So when we're given feedback, we always focus on the good things. So this was a very nice story. I like the ending. You used very nice vocabulary. Well done. And here are some points that you need to be careful with. And then you point out the things that the student needs to work on. Yeah, so the teacher usually does that in a writing form on the students' writing task, whether it's a paper or whether it's an electronic version, doesn't matter. Yeah, so we give them feedback so they know that they've done well, but here are some things that they need to focus on. Yeah, so we don't just tell them that there are mistakes. Yeah, we want to encourage them. We want to tell them that this was good, it was a nice try, and here are some things that they can improve next time.
Very good. So بالمختصر الأستاذة لينا تكلمت هنا عن مهارات الكتابة. هنا مثل القراءة تختار موضوع شيق، فلتكن قصة مثلا، وتجمع أولا كلمات الفوكابلري اللي تحتاج إلى شرح في القصة أو في القطعة، تشرحها على أساس أنه لما تقرأها تكون فاهمينها. بعد ما تخلص من موضوع الفوكابلري طبعا تركز على layout and the language of the model، وأيضا تعتمد على الصور. الجرامر. Lina, do you think the kids love grammars here, like the so early stages? Do they need to learn grammar?
We need to learn grammar at starting with the early stages, absolutely, but we don't learn grammar for the sake of grammar. We learn it for the sake of communication. Yeah, so we need grammar because it helps us to form sentences together so we can speak or write. So again, when we're having a grammar lesson, it doesn't mean that we're just doing grammar exercises all the time, because it's not about being able to pass a test, it's about being able to communicate. So when we've introduced a grammar point and we've done some exercises to practice it, we always go into speaking. Yeah, so at the end of the lesson, we always try to use the grammar that we have just learned in communication.
Okay, let's proceed so we can get that on time. اللي عنده أي سؤال في باله، سؤال مثلا دخل وما لقى الإجابة اللي هو على باله، يكتبها في الشات أو يجهز حاله إنه نعطيه المايك. Okay, let's proceed, Lena, so we can receive more questions with the audience.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let us move on now to speaking skills. As I've already mentioned, speaking is a part of every lesson. If it's doesn't matter if it's listening or reading, we will always speak in every lesson, or if it's grammar or vocabulary, there will always be speaking. And we introduce the vocabulary or grammar points that we want for the students to produce at the end of the lesson in a situation. Yeah, so new grammar can be found sitting in a text or in a listening, or students may see it in a video. And what the teacher does next is we extract this vocabulary or grammar and we introduce it to students. We make sure that they understand what it is, why and how it is used, and then we move on to practicing this grammar or vocabulary in a range of exercises. Another important thing here is personalization. We've already spoken about it. So whether it's grammar or whether it's vocabulary, it really helps that students practice it in activities that help them to remember it better. These are exercises like tasks like find 3 things in common with your partner or the person who's sitting next to you, or guess your partner's answers. These are different games and quizzes, or things like find someone who has never been abroad, for example, or students write 3 sentences about themselves. One is false and the others are true. Read your sentences to your partner and let them guess. Yes, so we personalize the vocabulary and the grammar that we've just learned. We use it in sentences in a context, in a situation that is close to us. Yes, so we try to make it our own by talking about ourselves. And finally, we set a communicative task with the use of the vocabulary or grammar that we've just learned. In this case, the teacher always sets an example. And in this example, we use the vocabulary that we've just learned or the grammar that we've just learned. We set a model for our students and we give them a task, whether it's a discussion, a dialogue, a project. And after that, we give them feedback. Yes, so we listen to what students are saying. They're communicating to each other in groups or pairs. Teacher listens and then gives them feedback. For example, by writing some good phrases on the board and some examples with mistakes. And together as a class, we decide which phrases were good, which have mistakes, how can we correct those mistakes, and make sure that they really understand the grammar point or how to use certain vocabulary, for example.
Okay, you still have 5 minutes to finish the presentation, then we'll go to the questions.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you can proceed. Then I think
yeah, okay. So let's move on then to the question that is very concerning for a lot of teachers and parents. How do we make sure that the learning process is fun and effective? So obviously any kind of learning requires consistent practice and repetition. So at the lesson, we go back to the words that we've learned, and we make sure that we always repeat them in different games and exercises and activities so that the children remember them. We give them home tasks so that they can devote some time after the lesson to brushing up their knowledge on the things that we've learned. It's good to have a vocabulary notebook where students can write down any useful words and phrases that they've learned during the lesson. As a teacher, I integrate the language into fun activities. So when teaching children, you have to make sure that they are interested, motivated, and they don't feel bored. So how do we achieve that? We make sure that we mix up the activities, so we don't just do the same activity all the time. We move on from speaking to listening to writing. We incorporate some games and interesting things for them to keep them attentive and active. We create as many speaking opportunities as possible throughout our lessons. And we celebrate every little success and encourage every little attempt, because no matter how the children are doing, they're trying, they're doing their best. So it's important to encourage them to keep on learning. Another...
Can you go back?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think these are very golden keys here. لينا ذكرت إنه من أهم النصائح لتعلم اللغة الإنجليزية للأطفال، أولاً consistent practice. يعني ما يصير تعلم طفلك يوم وتنسى يومين، لابد بطريقة ثابتة، بطريقة مستمرة. consistent and continuous and repetition. ودائما تعيد عليه حتى يتمكن منها. vocabulary notebook ممكن يكون vocabulary note أو ممكن يكون اللي يعني مثل posters. integrate language into fun activities. هذه النقطة المهمة جدا. ما يصير الأم تعلم طفلها وهي معصبة وهي ما لها خلق وكأنه زي الواجب عليها إنه لابد تخلص هذا الشيء. فضروري إن يكون التعليم في لعب. فضروري يكون التعليم فيه لعب، فيه fun activities. والنقطة الأخيرة celebrative related success. احتفل مع طفلك لما يؤدي إنجاز، لما يخلص حاجة مهمة وحلوة احتفل معاه، وعلى أساس هو يتحمس إلى النشاط الآخر. This slide is really golden keys, Lina. Thank you so much. I'm going to take a picture of it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Yeah, these are the things that we often forget, but it's very important that we don't focus on the mistakes, because we all make mistakes.
The third one, the fun activities, because some parents, they take it very serious. And this is
exactly. You have to make learning fun, because otherwise it will be just a chore and the children will hate it. Yeah, it's important to focus on the things that they do well rather than just always talk about their mistakes, because then they will be afraid of doing something because they're afraid of making mistakes. Instead, just make sure that they are in an environment where they know that making mistakes is fine, because this is a way to learn. This is the only way that you learn. If you don't make mistakes, it means that you're not trying hard enough, or you're not doing anything. So it's natural that you will make mistakes, but this will help you to grow and to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, so another point that I'd like to touch upon is phonics. What is it and why is it important? So phonics is a method of teaching how to read, and it focuses on how letters make sounds and then how sounds make words. So phonics is especially useful for those students whose first language does not use the same alphabet as English does. It helps them to be better spellers, better readers and better listeners. And it's especially important in English because wrong pronunciation of certain English sounds can lead to misunderstandings, as you can see here on the picture. The sheep are on the ship. So two words that are spelled in a different way and that use different vowels here, double E and I, and different sounds, long E and short I. And as a result, two completely different words. So that's why it's important to know the difference between how we pronounce the words. So we incorporate phonics into every lesson because we always learn new vocabulary. So that means that we're learning pronunciation. It is very important to make sure that phonics is a part of every lesson, and you can also make it fun for children to learn because you can play games like pronunciation bingo, you can sing songs or play the game of cross the odd one out. You can have some rhyming activities, you can play Palmanism with the cards, you can learn some tongue twisters, which are always fun and lead to a lot of laughter. But these are the things that do not require a lot of time, even for just a couple of minutes during every lesson. It does make a lot of difference.
A question comes to my mind here. Can the parents use phonics, or mute people here?
Yeah, sorry.
Can the parents use phonics, or it must be like specialized?
Well, it obviously depends on the parents' level of English. If they're quite fluent and they are sure that their pronunciation is correct, it's fine. Why not? But obviously, teachers would have more knowledge in that because we've studied this as a special subject in linguistics. It doesn't mean that the children need to know the phonetics and the symbols and the transcription. It may be difficult for them, especially the younger ones, but it's important to pay attention to how they pronounce the words, and so that they see that similar letters will have similar sounds, and that they can group the words according to the sounds that they have.
Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say
now
things in
we'll
Arabic?
be moving on. Yeah, sure. Do you want me to go back? Yeah.
هذه النقطة الأخيرة تقريبا السادة لينا تكلمت عن الفونكس. الفونكس طريقة تقنية جديدة طبعا، هي استخدمت في بريطانيا لتعليم اللغة الإنجليزية وحروف اللغة الإنجليزية بالصوت. فون اللي هو بالصوت، فونكس، صوت الحرف وليس شكل الحرف أو رسم الحرف. وتعتقد أستاذ لينا بأن استخدام الفونكس في كل الدروس مهم جدا، خصوصا مع الصفوف الأولى. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And last point I'd like to discuss with you is how parents can be good English teachers. How can parents help their children with learning? So outside school and outside lessons, in your free time, you have time and an opportunity to focus on your child's interests. So you can choose activities that they genuinely like doing, and you just do them together, but in English, whether it's painting or baking or crafting, doing something with your hands. Just pick something that your children like doing and try and do it in English. speak English at home, even for children who are just starting to learn, for beginners. It doesn't have to be long conversations. It can be really simple things like naming food or colors or objects of everyday life. For example, when you go shopping, let your children name the things that you're buying in English. Fruit, vegetables, colors, and so on. Play the games that you usually play as a family, but do it in English. Read favorite books that your children have read in your native language, read them in English, or try reading new ones. For young learners, there are a lot of books with pictures and just a little bit of text or funny poems that you can use to practice both reading and pronunciation. Watch favorite shows or cartoons in English, sing songs in English. I think we all agree that children spend a lot of time on their gadgets nowadays. So what you can do is just set the default language of the gadgets to English so that they can intuitively learn what each command on the gadget means in English.
I think these very important tips as well. لينا ذكرت بعض النصائح كيف تصبح ولي الأمر معلم لطفله، معلم اللغة الإنجليزية. أولا تهتم، هذه النقطة مهمة، أنك تهتم برغبات الطفل. يعني إذا هو يحب إذا يحب مثلا الرياضة والحركة، خلي اللغة الإنجليزية متناغمة مع أنشطة رياضية. إذا يحب الرسم والتشكيل، يكون النشاط يميل الى الرسم والتشكيل. اذا في المطبخ الطبخ والكيك والاشياء، خلي تعليمك للغه الانجليزيه منسجم مع هوايات ورغبات الطفل. ما تخليه مثل درس الجامد، درس الرياضيات جامد قاعد على الطاوله. اتكلم معاه في البيت، خصصوا فتره معينه مثل فتره الغداء وفتره المساء فقط تتكلم لغه انجليزيه، حتى طلباتك تكون باللغة الإنجليزية. العب معه أونلاين، بورد جيمز، بول جيمز، العب معه باللغة الإنجليزية. أيضا اقتني الكتب يعني بين فترة وفترة ضروري اقتناء الكتب. لما يمسك الطفل الكتاب ويقرأ الجمل راح تتوثق علاقته باللغة. المشاهدة ذكي، تشاهد أفلام قصيرة، اليوتيوب مليان الحين أشياء كثيرة، وحتى البرامج الصغيرة للأطفال باللغة الإنجليزية، حتى الأناشيد sing songs in English، دي الأغاني الأطفال باللغة الإنجليزية أيضا راح تساهم في هضم اللغة عند طفلك. What's the last one? Sit all God kids to the English language.
Yeah, so here, I mean, phones, computers, anything that tablets that children use.
Yeah,
make sure that they're in English.
Yeah, يعني خلي الكمبيوتر الكمبيوتر الستارت الاند المايكروسوفت تيمز الزوم كلها باللغة الإنجليزية حتى هو يتعامل معها بشكل مباشر. I think.
Yeah, okay. And just a final thought here. It's okay that it's natural that we struggle in some areas and we excel in others. So you can't be good in everything. So there will be some things which are easier and some things which are more difficult for your children. But for both teachers and parents, it is very important to keep on encouraging children to keep on learning, praise their efforts, praise their accomplishments. Don't focus on what they're doing wrong and on their mistakes, but instead praise their efforts, and that will help them to grow and to feel confident.
Wow, that's great, Lena. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Last but not least, I would like at the end of the webinar to announce for a program establishing how to establish your child's skills in English. It will be 8 weeks. Let me say this in Arabic. راح يكون في برنامج كيف أؤسس طفلي في اللغة الإنجليزية. راح يكون 8 أسابيع ابتداء من 15 فبراير ل 9 أبريل، ساعة واحدة في اليوم. التعليم بسيط لكن بشكل مستمر، consistent، بشكل مستمر. وإن شاء الله يعني نساهم في تحقيق هذا الهدف المهم جدا، في الهدف التعليمي المهم جدا لأطفالنا. راح إن شاء الله نكون راح أحط الإعلان في الشات، والرابط رابط التسجيل أيضا في الشات. Most probably the course will be taught by you, Lena, right?
Yes, it will be taught by me, yeah.
Very good. Okay, so it will be 8 weeks from Feb 15 to okay. Do you like to talk about
April.
Yeah, to talk about the program a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I can stop sharing my screen now. Sure. So you've already seen on the slides what the general outlook of our lessons looks like. So we will be focusing on the 4 skills that we've just touched upon: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Plus, in every lesson, there is going to be a little bit of grammar and a little bit of vocabulary. We'll be using authentic resources online, like the British Council, ISL Collective. We'll be using books as well, listening tasks, and everything is going to be based on authentic resources. And we will make sure that we make this learning fun and engaging for children. We'll be using different engaging activities, online games and things like that, to make sure that we develop all those 4 skills, but in a fun and interesting way for the children.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions, guys, before, yeah, we have like, we can extend sometimes if we have questions.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to
if you have
answer any
questions,
questions.
you can raise your hand, or you can write things in the chat. Okay, we have, okay, go ahead.
I think it's muted.
Okay, let me see here. Make a rename.
Hi there. I'm not sure if you can hear me okay. My name's Salim. I just wanted to add a little bit to what Lena said there, really, and just touching back on a couple of the things that you mentioned.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if the rest of the guys can hear me at all.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect, thank you. So just kind of going back a little bit to what you were discussing with Lena before, in regards to learning phonics is something that has been introduced now to the UK as well. Previously, we would learn the alphabet A, B, C, D, but what we found here in the UK was that wasn't really working. They weren't helping students to actually learn the sounds of the letters, rather they were learning the names of the letters, so A, B, C, D. So it is something that's been rolled out in the UK recently. So it is the best way to kind of start your child afresh from a young age to learn the phonics. The phonics will then result in learning the words, 1-syllable words, increasing the vocabulary, which will then be used in sentences. So not only would they learn the words, but these vocabulary words would then be used in sentences. So whether that's written or spoken. And that's the importance of phonics, really. It is the basis of any language, to pronounce the words correctly. So one perfect example that I can think of in the Arabic background was obviously the mispronunciation of the letters B and P, so the B and the P. And as you are probably aware, so I would often, whilst teaching in Saudi Arabia, get students saying Bebsi. So, you know, it's just a simple sound of the B and the P. And it's such an important thing, because when you're talking to a native British person, we often find it difficult to understand, you know, what you are trying to say. just simply because of a very simple mispronunciation of a letter, really. And that's why phonics are so important. Another, matter I wanted to touch on and I made note on was why grammar is important. Grammar is extremely important because, again, it's the basis of learning any language. So people will always learn words, and vocabulary words are going to be picked up in day-to-day life. But until these words can be used in the correct context, in the correct manner, with, in the correct grammar, again, they can mean nothing. So you can try and put a sentence together with a whole load of words, but if you don't know which way to use the words, then the sentence makes no sense. So that again is a very important reason as to why you should learn grammar as well. Sorry to take over your presentation there, Lena.
That's fine. Very fair points. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's I think a very good contribution.
Thank you.
ما يطلع.
الظاهر بس تحل الواجب خلاص.
Who is this here? Hello. في أسئلة عن البرنامج. الفئة العمرية طبعا من 5 إلى 9 سنوات. المدة 8 أسابيع 32 ساعة. السعر 350 ريال في الشهر. تاريخ بدء الدورة، يعني البرنامج كله ب 700 ريال. تاريخ بدء الدورة الاثنين 15 فبراير. Let me okay, and I think I'll make okay just a second. اللي سألنا عن البرنامج، أولا الفئة العمرية من 5 إلى 9 سنوات. الأستاذة لينا هي اللي راح تمسك البرنامج. المدة 8 أسابيع. السعر 350 ريال. تاريخ بدء الدورة 15 فبراير يوم الاثنين، ونهايته 9 أبريل. الوقت يوم الاثنين للخميس ظهرا ساعة واحدة، من الساعة 12:30 لين الساعة 1:30 الظهر. هذا البرنامج طبعا 350 ريال فقط، يعني مدة لو تكلفة برنامج كامل 700 ريال فقط. وراح أحط لكم الرابط الحين. Any questions?
Hi guys, are there any other questions? And I'm more than happy to answer any general questions for you guys. But as you've just mentioned, obviously we're called Vision Educational UK. We've basically got a whole lot of native teachers. We've got plenty of years of experience behind us. So we're just looking to get our courses launched. We've got, as Lena mentioned, very well established books. We've got all the resources there. So it's just about you guys wanting to kind of join and improve your English language. If you have any questions, whether it's in Arabic or English, you can direct them in our way. You can always find us on Instagram, Snapchat, or also on our website, which will be launched very soon. So keep an eye out.
You have Snapchat. That I think that.
We're launching. We're going to be launching our social media very soon. But you can definitely catch us on our Instagram currently as well. So on Vision Educational UK on Instagram, and we'll be launching the rest of our social media and the website very soon. So like I said, just keep an eye out, and we'll give you all our updates on there.
Also, I have a question here. How many students per class? What is the maximum? What is the maximum number of students?
Naturally, because we are learning online, there will be students in there. Now, what we will try and do is restrict the number of students per class to preferably around 10 to 12. What this means is every single student is given a certain amount of time, and it's concentrated on, so the teacher isn't driven between too many students. So we will try and restrict that, and every student, like I said, will get all the attention needed, as well as one-to-one, and the teamwork with the rest of the students. So
sorry, if it is 10 to 12 students, what if more students they register? Are you going to open more classes or just one?
Most definitely, yeah. Most definitely. We've already done one of these courses before, which is very, very successful. And that's the reason why we want to increase and expand, really. So if you get lots of interest, by all means, we've got native teachers here already that are waiting to teach you guys.
Okay. شباب هذا السنابي أنا كل الأنشطة في اللي راح أتكلم عن يعني بداية الدورة وحتى الإعلان تفاصيل عن الدورة راح راح أتكلم عنها في سنابي الخاص هذا شعلة MA.
I can't understand Arabic, sorry, but I'm guessing that's for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, this is my snapshot actually, because
Fantastic.
I'm talking about the program. Actually, yeah, I usually communicate every day by this snap. So all the details to describe this, and I already sent a link for registration.
Marvelous. Thank you so much. Let's say if anybody has any questions, feel free to obviously give us a message. You can contact yourself or us, and we're happy to answer any questions. And we're looking forward to welcoming you guys on the course.
Yeah, I have a hand raised here by Ali Salim. Okay, go ahead, Ali. Ali, you can unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we do hear you.
Yeah, I'd like just to start by thanking you, Mustafa, for such a great presentation tonight. I really impressed with the presentation, with the quality, with the clear, accent of the speaker. First time I see English speak, in a really very smooth and very clear accent of the English. Thank you so much. My question is regarding the feedback, just maybe regarding Miss Lina presentation about having like constructive feedback without jeopardizing the quality of the feedback. Sometimes I notice, especially in our education system in private schools, they always give very positive feedback, while in reality, the student is really suffering from some, drawbacks in the quality or in the ability to do the skill, while the teacher keeps saying he is excellent and keep encouraging without really giving a constructive feedback. So can Ms. Lina just give, highlight in this, please?
Yeah, sure. So I was focusing a lot on how the feedback should be positive, and this is the sole purpose of that is because we don't want to demotivate and discourage children from learning. So the right way, in my opinion, and from my practice, is to praise a child for doing something well, because they generally can't be bad at everything. There has to be something that they do well. So first thing is we praise them for doing something right, for doing something well, and then we point out the things that they need to work on. So constructive feedback is definitely very important. So positive, let's not just say equal positive to unrealistic. Yeah, positive means making sure that children stay motivated, but absolutely, by all means, we need to point out the areas where they need to improve. So that's the way I see it.
Thank you so much. By the way, Ms. Lina, I have here all my family were listening to you and really appreciating you and thanking you for such a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Okay, any more questions? Otherwise, yeah, we exceeded the time by 10 minutes. So thank you so much, Lina, for having you here. Thank you very much, Sals.
Salim.
Thank you.
Salim, yeah.
Salim. Oh, thank you, Salim.
Salim, yeah, Salim. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
We hopefully we can visit you there in UK.
You're most welcome.
Let's hope so. Yeah, definitely.
We're waiting for COVID-19 to travel away.
We all are, yeah. But in the meantime, we can meet online.
Exactly. Yes, and we'll see. Inshallah, we'll see you on Friday, 15, with the students, smart students. By then, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, again, you can communicate with me through Snapchat. Thank you so much and have a nice night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Hope to see you on our lessons very soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Now.